Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. Biafra fight for freedom, the undying spirit of freedom. I am Maxwell Nnawuihe. The struggle for Biafra is not just a political movement. It is a story of resilience. It is a story of sacrifice. It is a story of the undying spirit of freedom that is manifest in the people and being demonstrated by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the Biafran people in this generation. After the Nigeria's independence in 1960, there was ethnic tensions that led to conflict, beginning with a pogrom in the 1966. And in that very pogrom, about 100 and something thousand lives of the Easterners were lost. And the then leader of the Biafran people, General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, asked the Easterners to come back to the East for protection, since the federal military government could not secure or guarantee their security and their safety. So they were asked to come back to the East because of the pogrom. And in 1967, the Civil War broke out. Okay, so the Republic of Biafra was declared by General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, rising from the Eastern Consultative Assembly. He didn't unilaterally declare the Republic of Biafra. After due consultations, and the support was given, approval was given for the declaration of Biafra, and then Biafra Republic was declared in 1967. From 1967 to 1970 was the Biafra and Nigerian War, resulting in the loss of over 3 million lives, primarily from starvation, from hunger. And you know, Chief Obafemi Awolowo said that hunger and starvation is also a weapon of war against the Biafran people. They adopted that very strategy. The blockade resulted in the hunger and starvation of the Biafran people. You know, the concept is that we cannot feed our enemies and allow them to grow fat and have energy to fight us. General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu led the Biafrans to independence. They fought very strongly, very consistently, holding very strongly their territory. Of course, you know the story. And much like Moses in the case of the Israelites, who led them out of the land of Egypt, it was not an easy movement. It wasn't an easy agitation. It wasn't an easy quest for the reclamation or going back to the promised land. It wasn't easy. Moses led the people, just like Chukwuemeka Odumegwu led the Biafran people out of Nigeria to the Republic of Biafra between 1967 and 1970. So you can see the story about the Israelite Exodus and the passage of the Red Sea on the dry ground in Exodus chapter 14 verse 21 to 31. Today, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu leads the call for the Biafran's self-determination. He is persecuted, as some of you may know today. He is being dehumanized, his fundamental human rights abused and denied. This is also captured in the United Nations Judgment 2022. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, regardless of the persecution and the trials he's been subjected to, the denial of his right, the subversion or the travesty of justice or the subversion of the constitution that has surrounded his case and trial in Nigeria, has remained steadfast, much like Nehemiah. Nehemiah remained so steadfast regardless of the oppositions and all the calculated attempt by Sanballat and Tobiah in his own time and generation, when he was given the mandate to rebuild the fallen walls of Jerusalem and the burnt gates of Jerusalem. Sanballat and Tobiah, they were the oppositions that he had in his own time. Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 17 to 20. Do you know that from the time that Nehemiah received the approval to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem and the gates of Jerusalem from King Ahasuerus, to the time that he rebuilt the walls and the gates within 52 days, and to the time that Jesus entered Jerusalem, you know what is called the triumphant entry of Jesus, when he entered into Jerusalem in April 30 AD, the triumphant entry in the book of Luke chapter 19 verse 42. It was exactly 483 years. 483 years. That was the prophetic timeline that Daniel gave. You know the 70 weeks of Daniel. You may not know, but I'm not going into theology. This was a prophetic mandate that fell upon the shoulder of Nehemiah to ensure that the walls of Jerusalem were rebuilt and the gates were restored back or rebuilt in order to pave way for the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Yeshua HaMashiach. What Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing is prophetic. This you need to understand. For more details on this piece of information I've given to you now, I will refer you to one of my most powerful leadership videos titled Sanballat and Tobiah, Powerful Hidden Truth in Generational Leadership. That is the title. You can look at the screen and you see the video. It is here on this platform. Make sure you watch it. It deals with powerful hidden truths in generational leadership, using Sanballat and Tobiah and Nehemiah as case study, which beautifully and clearly captures the leadership mandate that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has in this very generation. So Nehemiah was faced by very strong opposition by these two people, Sanballat and Tobiah. And it might interest you to know that Sanballat and Tobiah, they were political office holders. I don't want to say more than this. I have referred you to the video in which I dealt with these case studies of Sanballat and Tobiah and Nehemiah in details. So make sure that after watching this video, you go to that video and watch. The Bible says in the book of Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 17 to 20, then I said to them, you see the trouble we are in. Jerusalem lies in ruins and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem and we will no longer be in disgrace. The land of Biafra is in disgrace. Igbo land is in disgrace. I don't want to digress. Verse 18, I also told them about the gracious hand of my God upon me and what the king had said to me. They replied, let us start rebuilding. So they began this good work. But when Sanballat the Horonite, Tobiah the Ammonite official, and Geshem the Arab heard about it, they mocked and ridiculed us. They mocked and ridiculed us, as some people were mocking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB when they started. From the beginning, they say, oh, these people are miscreants, they call them different kind of names. That was exactly what Nehemiah faced in his own generation. What is this you are doing? They asked. Are you rebelling against the king? Verse 20, I answered them by saying, the hand of heaven will give us success. We, his servants, will start rebuilding. But as for you, you have no share in Jerusalem or any claim of historic right to it. What we can learn from history. We have read very few lines about the impact and the opposition of the leadership of Nehemiah, the opposition from Sanballat and Tobiah in his own time. What we can learn from history. Number one, faith in a just cause will always attract opposition. Faith in a just cause will always attract opposition. Anything you are doing that is a just cause, be prepared to face very strong and heartbreaking opposition. Number two, leadership requires sacrifice and vision. Leadership requires sacrifice and vision. You can go to the description of this video and you will find very, very interesting videos or materials that will also help you to know what I'm talking about. Leadership requires sacrifice and vision. And number three, freedom is not given. It must be fought for with courage and wisdom. Freedom is not given anywhere. It must be fought for with courage and wisdom. We learn from Nehemiah, who never gave up in fear by the threats of oppositions of Sanballat, of Tobiah, of the Geshem. Nnamdi Kanu today has stood very strong without giving up to threats, different kind of threat made on his life. Nehemiah chapter 4 from verse 1 to 4, the Bible says, when Sanballat heard that we were rebuilding the wall, he became angry and was greatly incensed. He ridiculed the Jews too. And in the presence of his associates, the army of Samaria, he said, "What are those feeble Jews doing? What are those feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they finish in a day? Can they bring the stones back to life from those heaps of rubble burned as they are?" 3. Tobiah the Ammonite, who was at his side, said, "What they are building, if even a fox climbed up on it, he will break down the wall of stones." 4. Hear us, O our God, for we are despised. Turn their insults back on their own heads. Give them over as plunder in a land of captivity. The fight for Biafra is far from being over. It is not over. And as we analyze this struggle, it's very important that we reflect on the words of Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. Those who hope in the Lord, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. The spirit of Biafra lives on. Share your thoughts on the undying spirit of freedom manifest in Biafran people and demonstrated by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in this generation. Also like, share this video and subscribe. Follow us on all socials. I will come to you again with another interesting video. God bless you immensely and bye-bye.